the Chilled Cardano podcast. I am Eric, and this is Mike. How's it going? Mike just got back from the gym. Looking pretty ripped over there.
Thanks, man. Trying to keep it high and tight, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Keep those jeans high and tight, you know.
For any of your mom's house listeners.
Little tidbit for you guys.
Little Easter egg.
Keep feathering it, brother. So it's been we've been through some dark times lately in the markets. I feel like ADA hasn't been hurting as bad as other stuff, which is kind of cool, but it's still not like bullish for us. We've just kind of gotten dragged down with everything else, but in a less severe way, maybe. But it's kind of cool to see that even like we're seeing ADA be stronger than Ethereum, which is rarely the case. So I don't know. It's been fun to watch, like in a morbid kind of way, but I'm hoping it ends soon. I don't know if it will, but we'll see what happens in the stock market this week. But yeah, what do you think, Mike?
100% agree. If you want to go back to that Bitcoin chart.
Yeah.
The base chart, love. That's what they say in the UK, for our UK listeners out there.
God.
So
and
there was a thing that happened, and this is kind of what led us from going from like hanging out at the 30Ks to capitulating all the way down to 17,596. And that is a lot of idiots out there over leveraged. And I'm not talking about retail. I'm talking about venture funds, VCs, major exchanges like Celsius, centralized, that were promising crazy returns on just basically keeping your money on their exchange. And what they were doing on the back end was using these decentralized finance protocols to lever up. So like, I don't know if anybody's ever used like DeFi farms or anything like that, but those returns they were using to pay their customers. And when you're in a bear market, those returns go away very fast. And they were not prepared for that. They were over levered and they had to start selling their assets. And because all these things are wrapped, that meant the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum went down very fast. And Ethereum went down more than anything else because of all the wrapped assets on top of Ethereum. It was pretty nasty. And I feel really bad for people who hold Ethereum. And this is kind of like this contagion that happened because everything's just kind of wrapped on top of Ethereum. 880 is just incredible. You're just seeing this backlash of what happens when things go the wrong way, and it kind of just keeps cascading because as these these traders, all this stuff's on chain, so they're just watching to see what people's liquidation points are, and they're trying to hit them. And once they hit them, they cascade another 1,000, another 100, and people who think that they're safe at these levels that haven't been hit in a year, 2 years, 3 years, they're all of a sudden being, oh shit, I have to put more Ethereum on here so I don't get liquidated. And this thing keeps going down further and further and further, to the point where we were at like 2-3 years ago. So it's crazy interesting to watch. It hurts. But what happens is you kind of drain the swamp. You drain the swamp of all those people who are over levered, and you kind of get a clean floor where you can keep going up afterwards. So yeah, it sucks, but at the same time, you're not worried about going anywhere. And like if you see the Ethereum chart, we've gone down 72% from the top, which is absolutely insane. Incredible. In the speed that we've gone down as well, it's unreal. But on the bright side, all that shit's behind us, and now we can start moving back up. When you hit these capitulation points and it kind of settles down, I'm not saying like this is the bottom, but it kind of feels like a local bottom. And I think with Cardano's hard fork coming up, I think this is a great. If you got any cash on the side, I would definitely put it in. This is financial advice. Put it in, lever the fuck up, and let's go, baby boy. Put all your
100x.
monies in, 100x. No, but all joking aside, I think this is a great entry point if you're trying to make a little cash and hang out for the next 2 weeks. I think you're in for a nice little wild ride to the upside. Because we've just, I mean, like watching this all happened yesterday. Or was that the 18th, the 19th of June?
18th, yeah.
Yeah, and I just watched it. It's incredible. You see Bitcoin going to 17,000, and you've never seen. If you guys have been here for multiple cycles, the rule has been Bitcoin will never go down to its last local high, which was 20,000, and we went to 17. So like you're kind of rewriting the rules of what's capable, but also it almost feels like with all like the over levered people, they just kind of like ate shit on this move. And I still kind of feel like that 20K is like just the bottom. And I mean, all things aside, you have to like nothing goes down forever. And we were at 69,000 and now we're down to 19,000. So like
Fucking insane.
At some point, this thing's gonna go back to the middle of the range.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be caught off guard. You just don't. Because you're just gonna be sleeping one day and you're gonna look at the charts and the next thing you know, it's gonna have a 10-15% move to the upside, and you're gonna make fuck, like I should have put some cash in. And that's why it's almost easier just to dollar cost average and not like worry about this shit just because it's like it's so stressful to just watch this shit and be like, how low can we fucking go? Like, it's kind of crazy. And it's just like, if it goes any lower, it's like this thing was a scam to like, it almost like defeats the whole fucking like 69,000 was the top and we're at 17,000. It's like, is this thing gonna bounce ever? Like how many weeks of down have we had? It's if you guys have just started trading this and investing in this in the last year, like you just think crypto is a scam. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of funny. It's hard to like bring new people in because they just like they see the charts and like, why would I ever put my money into this thing?
Yeah.
So
I remember like
those. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Talking to one of my friends.
My soapbox.
Yeah, shut the fuck up for a second. I'm just kidding. But I remember one of my friends like back in probably 2019, he was starting to buy Bitcoin and stuff, and it went to that like crazy high level at the time, which was like 13,000, and I was like, man, maybe I should have bought that stuff. And then I remember it like crashed, like, and I remember watching it crash down to like 4,000 ADA, or not ADA, USD, and I was like, I'm so glad I didn't buy that. Like, those people are idiots, like. You feel like you're smarter than everyone.
I was that idiot.
But then it's like, look at the long term, and even if you bought there, like now you still have good profits. So it's like on a long enough time scale, I feel like everything you'll make good returns, but it's also scary because this is the first time where it's like a bear market within like a recession / depression.
A bear market within a bear market.
Yeah. And so everything is possible, I feel like. And the first thing everyone's going to sell off if they need shit is like crypto. And unless they're like really into it like us. But even if we were like in a really bad situation, we would probably have to sell our crypto, but um yeah, so it's not like they're going to sell off their 401ks, they're going to get rid of this stuff first. So,
Well, your 401k is down 70% as well. So it's not like,
yeah.
you feel the squeeze because all of a sudden you're starting to think about, oh shit, like I've been using my credit cards like crazy. Like my credit card payments are getting out of control. Like I got my
Yeah.
car payments, right?
Yeah.
And any other credit you've been using because you thought this shit was going to go to the moon. And now we're back down to levels we saw 2 years ago. And so you start to worry, like, holy shit, am I over levered in my own life? Because you don't want to have to use your crypto at these points when you saw it. You saw Cardano at $3. You know the potential of it. You don't want to sell it at 40 cents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, you don't know how long this bear market's going to last. And defense is the name of the game. So it's like, if I were everybody, I would like make sure you get rid of all your credit card shit, start clean, and then like now you can invest your money into this and not worry about the repercussions of tomorrow, right? Because you're here for the long term. You don't have
Yeah.
to like worry about your next credit card payments or your house or your mortgage. Like you're clean. Like you're playing with house money now. Like that's how you should be going into this because we might be here for 2 years. And at the end of this, you might be really fucking rich. So it's like you want to be clean. Like you don't want to have a bunch of debt on your ass and you're still invested in this. Like just take
Yeah.
care of that shit. And then like at the end of this, like you might be seeing really pretty in a couple of years, because you see the potential of this shit and it's incredible. And you feel like you're in the room by yourself. You're like, is anybody else like looking at all this potential here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also the other thing you were talking about, how like Cardano was holding up better than Ethereum and Bitcoin. It's because they're not connected. They're not wrapped. And on our like starting to happen with like Milk Meta.
Yeah.
And other projects are starting to use our stuff, and the more bridges we have connected to Ethereum, and we're trying to, like, you see Charles Hoskinson talk about they're making their own EVM sidechain with Ethereum. You have what's it called, Aneta BTC. They're going to have wrapped Bitcoin, so you're going to see other protocols on Cardano. And in a year's time, 2 years time, this stuff might happen to us, So
Yeah.
it's not that like we're better than anybody else, but it's more that like we're just not, like, we don't have a lot of total value locked on here yet. And when we do, it might be a different story. But at the same time, like looking from this stuff, I don't think this stuff's going to happen again. Just because people are starting to realize like you can't be a venture capital fund and be this fucking levered. Like it
Yeah.
just doesn't work. And like you have a
I'm sure
company
there's
like
going to be like
3AC,
fallout from this too.
massive fallout, dude, massive fallout. We don't know if this is the bottom. It feels like a bottom, but like Eric said, we're in a global bear market, and we don't know if like everything looks great fundamental wise for most protocols, but when the world's fucking burning, we don't know where we're going. So it's like, yeah, like put your money in, but also be prepared. Like this might go down further, and but I don't know, buy more. Like if you,
That's why I don't think,
and I always go ahead.
you
Sorry.
should be. That's why I don't think it's like. I know what you're saying. Like, oh, if you have extra money, put it in now. But I think DCAing is just do that, because there's plenty of times where I felt like it was the bottom on Cardano, like since I've been here, and it's like maybe it is, but you always just want to be able to like get in at the lower price. If you're always going to feel like shitty if you put it in at 40 cents and then it goes down to 20 cents, even if it's like comes right back, you know?
Right.
But I think it's just better to say you have like 5 grand or something in a savings account or something. I wouldn't just put it
Okay.
all in. Like I would do it like every 2 weeks or something, or every week. And I feel like when I've put in like large lump sums of cash, it's like I don't know. It's more like you feel the FOMO and you want to get in at that price, but then you wait a couple of days and you realize like you didn't have to do that, you know? I think it's better to just have a plan of like when you're gonna like have set times when you're gonna invest, but that's just my approach that I've learned instead of being a full degen and just anytime I get it, I throw it in. I mean, I do that
As
like when I
well.
get paid, but but I had to stop like putting like so much into it, and I'd just be like, you know what? It's good to have like savings and stuff that's separate from this, because then you don't feel so scared when
Broke.
shit's down. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's just my 2 cents. But
No, definitely. Yeah.
yeah,
You want to make sure you can, if like real life shit happens where you need cash, like you need liquid cash to like your car breaks down, you know, there's an emergency, health emergency, you could pay that stuff off and not sweat it. Like always have that. And like in your mind, diversify, have different cash lump sums for that. Like when we talk about this stuff, guys, you shouldn't be using money you need for life because it's just, it always will fuck you. I'm telling
yeah,
you from experience from myself, having to sell at low points, it always will find you. Like that price point where it's like something bad happens in your life or like something you need to take care of, your car breaks down and you're selling a half a Bitcoin to get it taken care of. Like it always happens regardless. So like you don't
yeah.
think it'll happen, it will happen. Set aside some cash for yourself on the side that's not attached to crypto, and that way you feel so much better. You'll feel so much better. I mean, even if it's like $1,000, just like take care of that stuff first, and then
Yeah,
you can mess around with JPEGs all you want and not feel bad about it.
you'll still feel a little bad, but
You'll still feel
it's
bad,
okay.
trust me.
um, but yeah, that whole Celsius thing is kind of crazy. I guess they were basically like in their terms and conditions, they were using the term like deposit and withdrawal, but they're like, here, deposit means like when you deposit money here, it means like you're giving us a loan basically to use your money however we want it. And then when you withdraw, you're basically like calling back the loan. And so people didn't like really know that. So they were basically like they would take the people's money and they would go to a different exchange and exchange it for like stable coins, and they were paying fees to get the stable coins from the other exchanges, so like it was already at a loss. So like then they were taking it and like gambling it, basically like putting it in different um like staked ETH, stuff like that, which is like totally illiquid, you know? And I'm like that shit only works in a bear market, you know? And then now that, or in
Bull
a bull
market.
market, and now that it's a bear market, like they couldn't keep the facade up. People were taking their money out and they couldn't afford it anymore. And so now, like it's been a week and they're still not letting people withdraw. So it's like, it's pretty fucked up, but it seems like if they're either gonna like totally liquidate and people are gonna get screwed, or I don't
Yep.
know what's gonna happen, but
Yeah,
it's not gonna be
they're
good.
for the rumors I'm hearing is they're bankrupt and they're basically gonna file bankruptcy. And like Eric said, those like in the terms and service, when you gave them your money, that was their money. It's like a central bank. And
Yeah.
like a central bank, they're able to use your assets and borrow against it and trade it and do whatever the hell they want with it because they have the rights to it. And that was in their terms of service. And now that they're liquidated, they have to pay back their loans first, and they have to pay back their investors first. So they're going to get money, they're going to pay their investors back, and then if there's anything left, the retail will get whatever's left, which is probably not a lot. And this will happen, and maybe because of going through lawyers and being litigious, it's going to take years. It's like the Mount Gox situation. If you guys have been here that long, those people still haven't gotten paid. So this is always why I've always tried to stay away from centralized exchanges, because once you put that money on there, you almost have to consider it a very risky thing, because at any point they could shut down and keep your cash, and
Yeah.
and that's kind of it sucks. But if you had any money on Celsius, I would consider it gone, and that's kind of just what it is.
Yeah. This is kind of funny. There was a tweet about BitBoy. I guess he was like pissed off that he had some money
And
in
let's
the.
talk. Let's just say who BitBoy is before we
Who is
trash him.
BitBoy, Mike?
BitBoy is a very famous YouTuber who basically shills pump and dump schemes on YouTube. That's kind of how he made most of his money. He'll work with like smaller tokens and stuff and get paid, and then he'll basically, pump and dump, tell you to buy this token, and as you guys are buying it, he'll sell his, and that's how he made most of his money. I don't understand why anybody watches him. Allegedly, he's a scammer. I don't want to outright call him out because I don't know if he's got lawyers and stuff, but
he's the king of YouTube, so we'll probably get taken down just for saying.
Hopefully not. But allegedly, folks, we're not here to throw stones. Wink, wink.
But basically, he was mad that Celsius took a bunch of his money, I think, and it's locked up. And he's like, let's start a class action lawsuit against Celsius and try to get everyone's money back. And then like a day or two later, he realized that he couldn't do that because he himself shilled Celsius to his viewers. So he's technically like part of it. So he's affiliated. So then he like backpedaled. He's like, I can't be involved in the lawsuit, but if you guys have questions, like I can help you get it set up. But it's just
awful.
Awful. Terrible.
So basically, if you want to blame anybody, blame this guy, because I'm sure a lot of people used his affiliate link, which he probably got a shit ton of money off of as well. And this is the kind of shit where it's like, it's so funny because it like just comes back to him where like he is the king of pump and dumps, and he doesn't even realize what he's shilling half the time. The fact that like he's trying to sue somebody who he's using his referral link to like make people use their product, it's like mind-blowing how like unaware he is of what he sells to people,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to be that like shameless,
unaware.
Well, he's just like, he's so self-absorbed that he just wants anything that benefits him, so he's not even thinking about like what he's shilled in the past, and
he doesn't even know what he's shilling half the time. It's just
he probably just reads it off a piece of paper.
He doesn't even believe in half the stuff he's buying, because he's just trying to sell it for a profit. And it's one thing to do that. It's another to shill it to your viewers and then act like you didn't do anything wrong. It's kind of messed up. It's like, have some fucking morals and ethics around.
Yeah, but we're just not big enough that we can do that yet. So maybe,
and guys, be aware when we will shill the fuck out of Celsius. V2 and Luna V6.
We'll use code words for our day one fans so they know like not to buy, even though we're saying to buy. But But yeah,
We're
so then
joking,
I was,
guys. We won't do that to
we
you.
won't do that.
We're
It's a
kidding.
joke.
Joke.
Um,
Allegedly.
it's allegedly a joke. I don't know how laws work, but I think we have to say that. So then I was thinking about like, okay, now we're gonna have stuff like Celsius, soon, like lending protocols and stuff like that. So then it's
We
like,
already have some with NFTs. Lending Pond.
oh yeah, that's true. But then it's like, how do you prevent yourself from getting Celsius?
Yeah.
Like, do you just, okay, I set aside a small amount to do lending, like, or I only, like, you really got to research the protocol you're using, or the, whatever you're using. You should really trust the people behind it. And I don't know, it's not like everyone's going to read the terms and conditions of everything, but at least read their white paper and see if it's like seems legitimate.
I think you also have to make a big stipulation between what you're saying is we're going to have lending protocols and the fact that Celsius was not a lending protocol. It wasn't a protocol at all. It was a centralized business. There was
That's true.
no
They
on-chain
pretended
stuff.
to be
It was
decentralized.
yeah, they were just a bank, like Chase Bank, US Bank, stuff like that. And then they were taking your money and then putting it on-chain services, on-chain protocols like Ethereum and Luna. And that's how they got in trouble, because they lost like $500 million here, $500 million there. Next thing you know, they just don't have enough to trade with to make people's money back. And that's why they have to file for bankruptcy. The on-chain protocols, the smart contracts that will be on Cardano is a different story. That's a totally different conversation, because it's all on chain. You could read what's going on. If you play with a block explorer, you could see what's happening, and you could see if someone's taking your money and moving it, and it's not locked up in a true smart contract. Like when you farm on MinSwap, you farm on Sunday Swap, it's different. It's like you could see it. You have the LP tokens locked in your wallet, and that's and as long as you have those, and as long as you trust that, which is still risky, but this is
I mean, MinSwap still owns all the pools, so it's like they still have that power,
power to what?
To like, how they did that whole,
right?
They pulled all the liquidity out with that exploit. Like, they still have that power to like do that. So I'm not saying MinSwap's bad or anything, but
well, that's not what happened. So they didn't write the code correctly on that first smart contract. They are not capable of doing that again. If that were to ever happen.
I know, but what I'm saying is,
like, they actually use the exploits to take people's money and then move it to a second smart contract, but they're not like that exploits. They took that out of the code.
Yeah, but I'm just saying their ability to like shut everything down,
Right.
Like, we probably don't want that, like in general, but I know they need it like for now. But I think if you're like really wanting to be decentralized, like it would be better to get away from that kind of thing. But so I don't know. I'm just saying, like, look out for like things that sound like red flags, or like, I'm currently using MinSwap to farm stuff, so I'm not saying like there's red flags. I'm just saying, like, as an example, like, we didn't know about that, right? So
yeah, there's tons of exploits.
More aware of like the potential shortcomings of farming. And with lending, it's going to be like, we're going to have to learn that stuff too. But like, I would feel safer doing it with like liquid finance rather than some random one that comes out of nowhere and is like, we'll give you 3,000% yield if you like lend with us. We just have to lock it for like 7 years, or like stuff like that.
Meld. Meld anyone?
Um, so yeah, I just think I just wanted to have that discussion, you know. I'm not trying to say blame anyone for anything.
So are you,
How do you protect yourself is my question.
how do you protect yourself? Great question. Don't ever put your whole portfolio into these farms, these stable coins. You have to diversify yourself to protect yourself. Like, you should be using multiple wallets. Not everything should be in one wallet for ease of use. Like, it's nice because it's easy and all your NFTs and all your native tokens are in one wallet and you could just connect it to these websites. um, you're creating a honeypot for someone who's watching on chain to see like all these native tokens or assets are on this one wallet. All I have to do is contact this person, be like, hey, this is MinSwap's customer service desk. Please connect your, they'll send you one of those emails. And then like if someone's not that nuanced in this and they're naive, they might connect themselves because they're worried that something bad has happened. And that's kind of how they social engineer into getting your stuff for the most part. So just diversify your tokens. Eric just got a hardware wallet. Eric, how easy was it to just connect your stuff to that and just kind of
I guess it doesn't want to look at it.
try the blue side?
You can do it like this. Well,
No,
you guys
the red, the red is
this is going great.
The blue side of the wallpaper. You could see it if it's on the other one. There, I guess not. I lied.
Do it like this,
right there,
in my face.
Boom,
guys. I
get a couple of those guys.
Got a ledger
and put all your native tokens and assets you want to hold for long periods of time, and put all that stuff on there that you're not trading on the daily. And you don't want anybody to touch. Put it on there. You don't have to worry about it. It's not connected to the internet. It's the best case. And then just play with the stuff you want to play with. You put that in a hot wallet, like Eternal or Nami.
And the cool thing about that is you can still stake through like Eternal Wallet, and you don't have to put like your seed phrase and all that. It just uses like your public key, and so you still have that ability. But yeah, I'm relying way too much on like the internet to be secure for like this thing I'm investing in. So I'm glad that I got a hardware wallet. And it's kind of like a cool little gadget to play with. Not that expensive. But I do feel like I might lose it.
Tie up your loose ends.
Yeah.
Well, and you have to have a safe place for it. Tie up your loose ends. If you're using a laptop or a desktop to trade with, specifically use it for that, and don't do your job on it, and don't do like, if you can, obviously, like all this stuff is like way more expensive than just having your laptop be your work laptop, your trading laptop, your social media laptop. Like if like,
or you could like
create less access,
a separate
points.
account, like a separate Windows user just for trading and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, partition.
Yeah. Make it hard. Even if your wife uses your computer, you don't want her messing with your stuff, especially if she has absolutely no idea about this stuff. Like my wife, I love her to death, but her OPSEC is terrible.
Yeah. The other day I was
hanging
out with some friends, like people I just met, and they were like playing music, and the girl was like, "Oh, you could play whatever music," and then she gave me her phone, and she's like, "Oh, my pin is this," and I was like, "Ah, you really shouldn't just give me your pin like that," It's like it's just so easy to social engineer people, like.
Well, right, and most people are very trusting,
Yeah.
It sucks because you and me know how easy it is to get into these systems. Like, I would never give anybody my PIN number. It's just like too easy to. Then they have access to your email, your passwords. You know, they can connect their two-factor authentication to your stuff, and kind of just. It's
Yeah.
very easy to take control of someone's identity, and
People don't
it's how you
realize
get in
their phone
trouble.
is like everything. It's like
Yeah.
has everything. Um, but yeah, it's important to try to be as secure as you can, you guys. Um, and always have your guard up. Like there's always people trying to scam all the time. Sometimes they're crafty, sometimes they're not. But like if anyone's ever trying to give you anything, like it's probably bullshit. Like no one's
Right.
ever going to give you something for free or give you a good deal. Like there there's always something behind that kind of stuff. Like so yeah.
Yeah, if anybody ever contacts you and tries to scare you or make you feel, if you feel fear off of an email, it's probably a scam. Like if anybody puts you in a corner and be like, "Hey, this got hacked. Give me your access keys," they're trying to steal your shit. It's
Yeah.
like rule number one. If they're trying to scare you, just give it a minute, back up. Don't do anything drastic. Always give it like a couple of hours, and then like try to like read the Twitter of these companies and see if something truly happened. Don't just take that email and take it as gospel. Like look at multiple sources and see if this is happening to other people. If it's not, it's most likely a scam.
Yeah.
um just
No
always,
one's
you always have time. Don't ever rush
yeah.
into giving somebody your private keys or access to anything. It's always a
Nothing is
bad
that
idea.
time sensitive. Like
Yeah,
if they're rushing you, it's probably a scam.
they're trying to freak you out, or like it's like, oh, we've got this NFT, you need to access this now. Like you want to be part of this
Whitelist
whitelist,
only
hurry up.
available for
Yeah,
10
yeah,
minutes. Yeah.
yeah. That's not a good idea. Like don't feed into that shit. Worst case scenario, buy it on the fucking secondary market for half the price. I don't know.
Yeah. It always surprises me to see like people being like, "Oh, I lost my board ape. I lost my clay like to
Blows
a
me away.
scam."
There's so many
Like
protocols
Seth
like
Green lost his uh board ape that
Bored
he
Ape
used for a fucking TV show.
TV show.
How does that
Yeah.
even happen? Like why are you even trading that? Like shouldn't you just keep that? It's
Well,
insane.
it has more to do with the fact that if somebody really wants to take your shit,
They'll
they
find
will.
a way.
They'll
Yeah.
find a way. They'll social engineer you to death. You got to be really careful out there.
People are certain people are like extremely good at um like yeah, social engineering, like convincing you of something. Like even if you're really smart, like some people are just really good at talking to other people and then
Eric,
like convincing them.
and like you're a good-looking guy. You're very attractive,
Oh,
and I
thank
just
you.
want to show you something with your wallet. So why don't you go ahead and give me your private
Yeah.
keys?
I have my seed phrase. Did you need that?
Put it on the screen. Let me see your seed phrase. I'll show you something really cool. And folks, it's that easy. It's that easy, folks.
I just got.
You got.
Yeah, man. We're going real deep on like the basics today, but I think it's good to talk about.
It's so important. You want to have a really solid foundation, and then that way, once you have your solid foundation, you're able to do more risky shit later on because you know that you're secure, and then you can
Yeah.
start playing with farms and all this wild shit that's being built out right now. This is, you guys gotta remember, this is all brand new, so there's a lot of really smart people here, and a lot of them are scammers,
But not us.
but not us. We're
Um,
just a couple of regular Joes.
just a couple RJs. So did you see this Solana thing? Basically, Solend, which is another lending protocol. There's like a pending liquidation of 170 million Sol, and if the liquidation goes through, it'll basically bring down the whole network because there's not enough liquidity on the DEX, and it also just can't handle that like size of a transaction, I guess. And so like that's kind of why Solana is not the greatest. Like it can't even handle like this
let's
kind of
talk
shit.
about, yeah, why don't you tell them about how a decentralized on-chain protocol is telling this guy that they're going to take his liquidity and liquidate it for him.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, how is this decentralized when another company can just take your money and liquidate it for you? Like, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of even calling it decentralized. It's not. Don't call it a DEX when you
Well,
could just take someone's money.
They're gonna vote on it, Mike. But since they own all the votes, like, you know, since the whales control the vote, they did vote on it, and it says a wallet over 1 million soldiers voted yes on the proposal and allowed the protocol to have full control over user funds. So basically, they could do whatever they want now with those funds.
Unbelievable.
It's pretty neat.
That's so messed up. This is why we believe in Cardano. They have like let's be honest, Cardano's not perfect, but
yeah,
they're doing a lot of things right. And shit like this just, it's like, this is what happens when you build really fast and, you know, everything goes by the wayside, because when shit gets real, like stuff like this happens. And I hope these people learn and maybe move their funds to a different chain, because this isn't a decentralized exchange, like, chain at all.
Yeah.
And this is why Cardano is so damn important.
And this is why Cardano is slowly gaining on Bitcoin, Mike.
And Ethereum. If you want to look at that ETH BTC chart or a Cardano ETH chart, it's beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life.
I don't think I've looked at that one. Let's see.
Oh, Eric, you're gonna love this.
I've only seen it when people use it. Oh, to make fun of us. But how the turns table. Let me
Maybe it seems like CoinGecko or something. Or Yahoo Finance.
Yahoo Finance. I don't like their charts. Let's look at this guy. Ooh, that's sexy.
It's beautiful.
And yeah, with all the Celsius was part of Ethereum, right? In a way.
Well, they're using the staked ETH, right? The ST ETH. And now that's trading below. It's supposed to be pegged to Ethereum's price, and it's now selling like $100 less than Ethereum. So it's their whole proof of stake system is so broken and centralized, and it's all owned by JP Morgan. So they're basically creating central banks again. And they're blocking people's IP addresses if you're from certain countries. So it's like, is this really what we're trying to do? Is this like the whole point? Like,
yeah,
it's so dumb. And like, it's funny when you hear these guys talk about it, but they never talk about Cardano, because it's a true example of what things should look like.
Yeah.
And it sucks, because it's like these people should be here for truly decentralized, like fair chains, and they're not. When you look into it, it's like you ask them, they get asked about Cardano all the time, and they just laugh and they make fun of it, and they just make fun of the papers and stuff like that. But it's like, we've had 0 hacks. Like, our chain's never been down. And and you're starting to see people starting to come over now, because everything else is broken. And you look at the charts, and the only thing that is keeping its price and and doesn't have any major issues is Cardano. It's like the only thing they could say about it now is that it's slow, but it's like it's pretty fast. I don't know if you've been using it lately. It's been pretty smooth.
Yeah, it has. But I don't know if it's just because like not a lot of people are using it lately. But with the Vagisil hard fork, we're gonna have
How dare you?
we're gonna
How
have
dare you?
some good speeds, Mike. Someone said that on Twitter. I thought it was funny. So
I
it's
retweeted it.
childish.
It's childish, but I thought it was funny as well.
Did you want to talk about Noom?
Yeah, Eric is a rapper. I don't know if anybody has listened to any of his music. It's why he goes by Illinois. And Noom is a like a protocol on Cardano that is trying to do basically Spotify on chain. But instead of Spotify getting all the money, they're going to give the majority of the money to the artist. What a crazy concept.
Pretty cool.
I think it's a very interesting idea. I hope it takes off. They've been very slow to build it out, but I really like the idea. So it's basically number one, own your own music, fractionalized intellectual property. Artists take control of distribution with credible and secure digital contracts. So basically, they're going to use smart contracts for people to basically you could make your songs NFTs and then sell them.
Yeah.
I guess it's up to the artist how that works, right? To see if like then that person would own your music, or I don't know how it's all gonna work.
Yeah. It sounds like you could do like they can also get royalties off of your music, which is interesting.
It opens up a lot of avenues.
Yeah. And it's also like, I don't know if you ever heard of like DistroKid. It's like
No.
for musicians, you pay like a monthly fee or like a yearly fee, and they'll put your music on like every platform. So you don't have to like worry about it. So they're kind of doing something similar, it sounds like, where they'll like put it on the different streaming apps. And then you get like a portion of the proceeds, I think. But I mean, most artists are never going to get anything from like Spotify. It's like unless you have like billions of listens, it's not really going to add up to much. But yeah, I've been wondering like if I make a new album or something, how would I release it? And it seems like this is kind of a way to do it. Cause like JPEG Store, it seems like they don't really do audio NFTs. Maybe they do, but I haven't really seen anything on it. And then it's also like, what am I really selling? Like I'm selling, it's not like a one of one, you know, it's like I want a lot of people to hear the song. So I get confused when I think about like, how do you make music NFTs, you know?
Yeah, and I think they're gonna make that super easy. I hope on their end it just becomes like the front of it is kind of like Spotify or Apple Music or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like the back end is like Cardano's blockchain and smart contracts. And they do all that stuff. And so that you could just focus on making music and not all the technology that's involved in getting paid for your music.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I hope it works. I think Eric's gonna try to do this for his next album.
Yeah. Whenever that is, Mike. We're working
Yeah,
on
no,
songs.
nothing yet, folks, but stay tuned.
Yeah, it's a cool concept. It also seems like very difficult to pull off. There's so many pieces to
Yeah.
it. So, but they seem to have like a good plan, a good backing, and we'll see if they succeed, I would definitely put my music on it. Um, I'm just interested to see how it all works.
And we're gonna keep you folks updated, Eric. I don't know if this is coming out this year or next year.
Hopefully this year. I just gotta actually record stuff, Mike.
Yeah, so we'll keep you guys involved. We'll let you know what's going on. And
Maybe we'll play one of my beats at the beginning of the episode
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah, just give you guys a little
Um,
taste.
yeah. If you go to my Twitter at IamIllnoise, my music links are on my profile. If you guys want to check that out. I don't really talk about it on here too much, but that is where my original passion lies. So, is there anything else you want to talk about today, Mike? Any NFTs stuff?
Um, Melting Moon Boy.
Did you buy one?
I didn't buy one yet. I saw it like a low of 70, and I was like, I'll buy them when they're 40 because I kind of think it's cool. I
What do
kind
you
of
like
like
about
it.
it?
Because
Oh, why am I using Microsoft Edge? Gross.
it's cool, bro. Um, God, like recently in this bear market, most of the NFTs have just been going down. This thing's been live for like 3 or 4 days now, and the floor's staying up. Um, I like that. I like that.
We all like that. I just
Yeah, was that? Go ahead.
I just find it so hard to buy anything right now. Like everything I've bought in the past like 3 weeks has just instantly cratered. And so it's like it's hard for me to buy anything unless I already knew about it and have been following it for a while. So like I like them, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I just everything seems like in a bear market who's gonna buy these NFTs? Like
Yeah.
um and everything is just like so short term. Like sure it'll pump to 150 or something and then after that people lose interest and then it just slowly like gets
Go back
drained
down.
out. Either that or like you have to constantly keep feeding people stuff to get them to buy it and that's hard to do, like especially like smaller projects don't have the capital to always be putting out more stuff. So
So, what
I
is
mean,
your future like? Even for like your blue chips, what is your mentality going forward for the next year or 2 years holding on to this stuff? Do you believe in the space? Do you think it's like there's potential for it to grow? And how does that happen? Like,
I think I believe in like NFTs for sure, but I just think in a bear market it's hard to sell art to the majority of people. It's more of a thing you buy when like things are it's like a luxury item, you know? So like
right.
people aren't going to buy like their really nice toilet paper when shit's going down in the economy. So it's like nah, that's probably a bad analogy, but um I guess my point is as far as NFTs, I feel like I just want to buy blue chip stuff that's already considered blue chip and just since I mean it's probably going to be as cheap as it's going to get right now cuz the cost of ADA is so cheap, like I'm kind of pivoting towards doing that instead of buying every like new project that I see because that is so hit or miss and a lot of times you just end up with like this NFT that is constantly like people are just constantly selling off cuz they don't believe in it anymore. And I haven't sold off my NFTs or anything. I'm just gonna hold what I have because why not? And I'm also not like I'm gonna sell all my blue chips because those are the ones that have made me profit, because that's
Right.
also the wrong. I feel like that's the wrong approach because then you're just stuck with like bad NFTs, and then you see the blue chips that you sold are like
They just keep going
skyrocketing one
up.
day, and you're like, just then you're chasing that, and then you're just
Salty as
like,
hell,
yeah.
making bad moves.
So I think that's my new approach is just going for the blue chips and then just stacking ADA. What do you think? What's your Are you still have an appetite for minting stuff?
I'm addicted to it. But yeah, I think you've talked some sense into me the last couple of weeks where you're like, if you mint this, like it's just gonna go down. Like, and I love art, so it's hard for me to not to. But he's right, and you start to look at the fundamentals of most of this stuff, and you look at the team, you read their Twitter and their white paper, and see where it's going, and then kind of deploy money that way instead of just minting every single thing and thinking it's just going to go up forever. Especially
Yeah.
in a bear market. That's why it's kind of fascinating to be in this space right now, is because you want to see what hangs on to their price point right now. Like when everything's dying, like what has value?
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun to just be in the space and see what's still sticking around and what people truly value, because those price points are still there. And it's fascinating to see how these teams pivot. Like, oh, I'm not making money on this. Like, how am I gonna, like, at the end of the day, these are small businesses, and it's like, how am I going to create more value for my customers? And it's going to
Yeah.
be very interesting over the next 6 to 12 months to see how that plays out and to see how they accomplish it, because I think there will be some companies that make value for their investors. And if you're not paying attention, you're not going to kind of be a part of those teams. So
Yeah.
it's fun. I don't know. I'm always having fun in these markets. It sucks the price is going down, but if you truly believe in the space, like I was buying Cardano when it was 2 cents, so I was here
Yeah.
when nobody was here. everyone didn't know what Cardano was. So now that there's actual stuff on here that I can kind of spend my time looking at and talking to people on Twitter, uh, I'm here, baby. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here for the next 10 years. So if you want to hang out with me and Eric, shoot the shit with us, we'll be here too.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at like the on-chain stuff, like total value locked, if you look at like the USD, it's been going down with the market basically, but like ADA is kind of held its like, you know, 200 million level. Um so people aren't like done, they're not leaving. They're just not adding more. And I think that has a lot to do with being in the bear market. You don't want to lock into some token or like,
Move up over the next 6 weeks because we will be getting our own native US dollar, which is the Cody Jed USD. And our total value locked, I believe, will go up. It'll make using most of these protocols a lot nicer and easier, because as you make your profits, you will be able to diversify and leave them on chain instead of having to, use something else like a wrapped USDC or a wrapped tether on like Wing Riders or something.
yeah,
It makes it'll be native within these protocols, like Liquid's coming online, Ardana, um, and those are money market protocols, which has a lot more to do with lending money out to people. Um, so you'll have more USD locked, and it'll be easier for you to have like a nice savings account on Cardano, and you won't have to like worry about price appreciation, and that way you can diversify your portfolio and have like a little bag where you can invest and sell stuff, and then move off profits to the side, and not having to worry about these volatile times, and it'll
Yeah.
let you build a nice portfolio where maybe you have 20% locked up in USD, and then 70 invested in Cardano, and then who knows, another 10% in native tokens and NFTs and stuff like that. But you really have to figure out what you want to do with your portfolio, how you want to play it. So
Yeah.
it'll be very interesting. These next 3 months will be really fun to see what comes online and what you can play with and what opens up. At the end of the day, this is opportunity to make more money for you and your family. And yeah, it's a lot of fun for me personally, because you could do it all from the ease of your phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's an opportunity that hasn't been there for regular people for a really long time. You're not going to need, to talk to a financial advisor, hire that person, hire a tax person. Like if you can do that, that's cool, that's nice. But I think for most regular people, they just don't have, like, if you're starting with $1,000, like I started with $400 when I started investing. So I didn't have anything, you know, and
Now you have $500.
now I have $500, guys, and I'm willing to.
That's pretty cool. That's a success
It's
story.
pretty sweet. Hey, that's a win.
um, yeah, looking at this NFT chart as well, like you can see the people are not buying NFTs right now, but I think it's like cyclical. They're just like these people will come back. It's just everyone's scared of everything right now, and that makes it a little bit boring. But if you can if you can make money or figure out a way to get good assets during this time, that's probably like one of the best things you can do right now.
Yep.
But a lot of people aren't doing that because they're scared.
This is when people are scared. This is the best time to buy the stuff you believe in and just hang on to it for 6 months to 12 months. And that's where you're going to make the most of your money. And
Like
just do
Mike's
your research and go ahead.
I was gonna say, like Mike said, not to buy a space buds because he doesn't think they're that cool, but I do think they're that cool. So, there's differing opinions even between us.
Yeah.
So if I do buy a space buds and I become a millionaire off it, Mike's really gonna regret saying
Not
that.
really, because you're my brother. And, if I ask for.
And you'll buy one like at 500, like oh, you'll ask me for money. That's true.
Yeah, you're going to have to take care of me.
You're like, your money is my money. I got you
Right.
into this.
Yeah.
Um,
You'll have to fractionalize your space buds and give me 10%
yeah,
loan.
it's crazy, man. Like the price hasn't really changed, right? But
Right.
it's just worth so much less now because of the price of ADA. But I mean, I didn't really mean to talk about this, but
No,
it's
go
an
ahead.
interesting conversation. It just seems like the one, like, I feel like it doesn't have that much utility right now, but it just seems like the one project that everyone kind of sees as like the crowned jewel of Cardano, even though I think like Clay Nation is probably like, I think they're probably the best project, like utility wise, and like they're always giving you updates on what they're doing. But yeah, It's just something about it makes me want it, but it's also like so expensive.
Can I give you a diversifying opinion on that?
Please do. Guys, let me know in the comments if I should buy a Space Buds.
Yeah, in the comments. So the problem I have with Space Buds is that it's like Barry Ailes, and he's by himself, and it's like pretty badass that like it was like one of the first NFT PFP projects on Cardano. And I think because they were here first and it was Barry, people like supported that, and then it became its own thing, right? But now as year 2 comes along, you're starting to see other teams come like a Clay Nation and see what they're building, and it's like, we have this white paper, here's what we're doing, we have this team, we have graphic designers, we have business people, we have, you know, they're building out their token, they have who they have somebody building their tokenomics out for them, which are really nice. They're building stuff in the real space, you know, they have their trading card game, and they're creating a company and a marketing team, and you're starting to see this thing build out into its own thing, and it's beautiful to see. It's going to have a lot of impact. You see Space Buds, you see what they're doing. It's a lot of on-chain stuff. It's cool. You're creating like he's basically making a decentralized ID with each NFT that you can like put your own name on and stuff like that, which is nice. But he's not making it a business. It's not going to be like this whole thing. Like, he's still building Nami Wallet, and so it's kind of interesting to see where his, like, you know, what he's going to do with it, because it's more Barry by himself, and then you have this massive undertaking with Clay Nation. Like, who knows if that will work, but when you have that much manpower behind something, it tends to do pretty well. So it's just 2 different ways to build a thing. I think Clay will be able to build it faster, and that might bring more attention to it, and they actually might become like the #1 project on Cardano as far as NFTs go. They have a lot of they have Snoop Dogg behind them. They're making a music video. They're getting into the zeitgeist of just like regular people, and it's just like, how do you compete with that, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And once you lose that #1 spot, you know, when they're not the highest price point of NFTs and people point as the legendary project anymore, what's their thing? What's the mystique behind it? Once they lose their mystique, it's like, I don't know.
You're right.
That's why I'm like, I don't know.
That's why you're on the
like, I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's probably like just more like, since I don't have one, I want one.
Right. And I could be wrong. Who fucking knows? Maybe this guy's got something up his sleeve that will blow everybody away, and I'll look like an asshole in about 6 months. I'll probably look like an asshole in 6 months regardless, but
for a multitude of reasons. All right, Mike. I think that's all I got.
That'll do it for Namaste. God bless everybody. Next week we'll be doing this live for the first time. We're getting together for a wedding, so we're gonna do a recording live. Stay tuned for that. It'll be fun. Who knows what kind of hijinks we'll have.
All right, we'll see you in person next week, Mike.
All right, y'all. Take care. Have a good one.
Bye. Oh, I just freaked out because I thought I wasn't recording.